In its most simplest form, an NFT is a digital asset. It is something you can own, like a home, like a car, and is identifiable to you, specifically just like your ID. NFTs have three main things going for it. Number one, it is unique. Number two, it is global. It functions on a global network, and therefore it can do global transactions instantly. And finally, number three, and I think the most important, it is secure. It is secure thanks to blockchain technology and peer-to-peer verification. So let's see who's in it. Thanks to this, what I just mentioned, there are big companies such as Nike, Adidas, Coca-Cola, and even McDonald's getting into the game. But with all this going for it, why do we see so many NFT projects not thrive? Well, ladies and gentlemen, after I explain to you the typical NFT cycle, you will be able to look at any NFT project, almost any NFT project, and see exactly where it is on this cycle. Step number one, the idea phase. Everything begins with an idea, and the same goes for NFT. So, I'm sure some of you in the audience might recognize what this is. This is the world's most successful and the world's most profitable NFT collection to be released. And that's why I want to use it as a case study for today's example. Step number two, they want to get hype. Of course, every business wants to get hype. We get people involved, we get big star power like Paris Hilton, Eminem, Madonna, Justin Bieber. And with this much star power, of course, you will see the value of the NFT rise, no? Paris Hilton's NFT was worth at $300,000 US at its peak. Eminem 460K, Madonna 1.27 million, and Justin Bieber's drawing of a monkey was worth 1.31 million US dollars. But I'm not finished. The NFT cycle, to finish that, we have to talk about the part that nobody wants to talk about, which is, what now? What is possible after your NFT hits its peak? Everyone who wants to buy your NFT, everyone who wants or can afford to get into your NFT has already gotten in. Now they're just looking to get out. They want to cash in, and that is the problem facing all of NFT today. So let's dive a bit deeper into why that happened. And the answer might surprise you. Because it's very counterintuitive. The answer is hype. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with hype per se. The problem with hype is that the only thing these NFT projects give and derive value from is hype. And let me tell you this, there is nothing, and I mean nothing in this world, that can produce hype indefinitely. So, when your hype-driven NFT reaches the peak, there are only two possible paths that it can take. Either people lose interest, or everyone starts to cash in. People will think, okay, we're at the peak now, I should start selling. When people start selling, what happens? More people start selling, and when that happens, we all know what happens. It crashes. The whole market will crash. So both paths, no matter which one it takes, will lead to the same outcome. A slowing in the movement of the market and a slow decline in users. This creates what I like to call a two-dimensional market. Two-dimensional market simply means there's only two options that you can take. You either buy or you can sell. So let me ask you this. Is it the fault of the users that caused this deadlock? Or is it the fault of the structure? And I would argue that it's the structure, because through no fault of the consumers, this is all they were given. There's nothing else they could have done about it. And so how do we fix this? Let me introduce you to utility-driven NFTs. And what do I mean by utility? Utility simply means that we want to give more options to people. We want to create what's called a three-dimensional market. No longer is it just buying or selling. Yes, you can do those, but you can also collect, compete, stake, boost, exchange, and my favorite, which is trading, and we'll get into that in just a second. Utility-driven NFTs, if you remember that picture I showed you earlier of the traffic deadlock, this is the type of ecosystem that will be created by utility-driven NFT. It's a free flow movement in the market. There is no slowing. This is what the market would look like at all times. At its beginning, at its peak, every single time. It will be a free flow of movement. Because there's not this one destination, there's multiple paths. And I want to emphasize that. Multiple paths, not just buying and selling. This creates a sustainable ecosystem that survives past hype. Because you see all these NFT projects, for example, that Bored Apes project I showed you, that NFT owned by Justin Bieber at $1.31 million is now worth $75,000. Why? Because the only value it had was hype. So, introducing Footiverse. This is just one iteration of what we believe utility-driven NFTs can be. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to show you the reveal trailer for Footiverse.
Welcome to the Footiverse. Step into the world of digital sports with us. Build and manage your own team. Trade, collect, and of course, play. Your team, your strategy, your victory. Face off in leagues and compete on an international stage against players from all around the world. Not just an NFT, not hype, but utility. Join us as we enter into the new world of web3. Footiverse, the NFT breakthrough.
So I hope that was able to give you guys just a small glimpse into what we're trying to make here. Footiverse is going to be released in collections, and you might have already seen on the cubes outside, and perhaps on our marketing. That was our first collection, which is the World Cup collection. But going forward, we're going to be releasing more and more in the themes of leagues, like the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, and Series A, and many more to come. So let's go into a bit about what a utility-driven NFT would look like, and what Footiverse will offer. Number one, you can compete with your team to win prizes. And that means there's more value outside of just buying and selling. Now your NFTs can earn you money and earn you prizes simply by you putting them into the game. Do you have to give them away? Do you have to stake them up for the game? No, you don't. That's the value. You can get value out of your NFTs without it ever leaving your possession. Number two, completing a set. We want to start incentivizing users to complete sets. And this will allow for step number three, which is trading with others. You don't hear of trading in different NFT projects because there's not much incentive to do so. Why would you trade? You either buy and then you convert that and buy another one. Now, with the incentivization of completing sets, someone could have a higher, technically higher value NFT, but they would trade that away for a technically lower value NFT so they can complete their set. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have 2 silver cards, and we'll say for the sake of time that it's Mbappe. Some other person comes along and they have 1 Messi. Would you trade away your Messi just so you can complete your set? Let's say that does happen. Who is the winner here? The person giving away the Messi or the person completing their set? The answer is both. We want to create a scenario where it's no longer just a zero-sum game where someone else has to lose so I can gain. We want to make a win-win situation and incentivize community building. Because as everyone's always trying to win from each other, it doesn't really produce much of a community at all. And of course, you can buy and sell it like any other NFT. And of course, number 5, you can use NFTs as a voucher and a loyalty points credit. So let me give you a snapshot of what the footiverse Web 3.0 economy would look like. If this was simply a normal hype-driven NFT, this diagram would be much more simple. It would simply be one arrow, and the value would be hype. So just like we're doing with NFTs, we want to create utility-driven crypto. And that's what Footy Token is. Yes, you can see in the top right, we have the values that we've just covered, but it will also provide utility beyond that for Web3 commerce and helping pre-existing Web2 businesses transition into Web3. This will also be helped by our payment systems, which will allow you to do in-game purchases and in-world purchases, partnering with other licensed gaming networks. We can do this thanks to savvix Pay and crypto fiat conversion using our pre-existing channels. So we are set and we have the foundation to make this project a reality. So just a quick summary. Using Footy tokens, you can purchase in-game NFTs. You can purchase in-game amenities. And you can participate in DAO voting. What is DAO voting? Well, simply put, we want to create a democratic system using the blockchain to allow all of you and anyone who's participating in the Footiverse to have a say in what the Footiverse's future would look like. And number 4, others. We want to keep on adding utility to these NFTs, utility to our Footy token. Because imagine if you have a Footiverse token, a Footiverse avatar. The value will keep increasing, but it's not hype-based. Let me tell you that. Because if it was hype-based, yes, you can add value. The value might rise, but that value might disappear tomorrow and you might not even know. With utility added services, utility added value. Once that's added, that's forever. So you can see here we're already available on OpenSea, and we're looking to get published onto Pangolin. And we'll hear from one of the directors of Pangolin in just a few moments. So ladies and gentlemen, you might have heard that we've already done the Footiverse registration for airdrops, and that has already closed. But that's some good news for you, because we have made a separate form that everyone here at this event is qualified to get their own airdrop. So if you'd like to, you can scan here to get your QR code to get into this DNA, because my dad was born here, so I consider myself half Malaysian. But anyway, I'd love to share a little bit more about what Tencent is doing. How do we take that and package that into the Web3 space? And there's really sort of 5 broad categories that we are very keen to participate at this stage. The first is around how do we help you to drive customer growth? So how do we help you to acquire more customers? You know, your outreach, your campaigns, your CRM tools. So there are a number of services that we can.
Just now we were talking about infrastructure as a platform, okay, or platform as a service. We have come and coined a new thing called Web3 as a service. This I think is very new. And so, but it's mainly for the creator economy. So to give context to this, we have recently signed up with a Malaysian company that has 4,000
the Saudi Arabian government, investing $38 billion. By 2030, it's going to make Saudi Arabia a gaming hub. 38 billion, so it's like almost $5 billion a year kind of investment. So that's crazy. So for the last year or so, investments into blockchain games, I think the projection is a bit off. Maybe it comes about 6 to 7 billion because of the crypto winter. But in any case, the trend is still growing. So despite the fact that we have a crypto winter. So the gaming industry, I will park my assets and I'll stake it and then earn interest. And you get paid for it, just like you put money in a fixed deposit. Right? BYOB. Bring your own beer? No. Sorry. This is be your own boss. Okay? So we create entrepreneurship. How does that work? You can actually create what we call guilds. You can actually train people, you can actually recruit players to play for you, right? And then you do a profit share with the gamers, because for every dollar they earn, let's say you have a deal with them, you take 30 cents, right? And the other thing is very cool is also you can actually buy these assets and rent them out. There's a rental, there's been recently just been improved on the ERC protocol. Now you can actually rent out your in-game assets. You know, I play 8 hours, I can rent it out for 16 hours. That's cool. You can't do that in a Web2 game. So, whether Web3 games is going to be very successful or not, right, that remains to be seen, because it's quite challenging to disrupt the existing, those big companies out there.
Yeah. Very confused. You know, I think I need to help, you know, make sense for whatever that the previous speakers have mentioned. You know, you've been hearing a lot of jargons like NFT, blockchain. Use it like today's event. You know, we could have given out the invitation to you as an NFT. Or we can say that, okay, you scan this QR code, it is a proof that you attended this event as an NFT, and you get to keep.
Today we got all these, I would say, great speakers, great partners from Verifax, Copia Corp, Pangolin. They are actually joining to build this Web3 space together. In this Web3 space, it's basically a humongous blocks to be built. It's not only a NFT or just simply blockchains or metaverse. But what exactly savvix is trying to deliver in this Web3 space is basically we are building all the blocks together with the fundamentals, be it Web2 and Web3. But first and foremost, I would like to check all the audience who knows what really Web3, because we have been talking about Web3 blocks, it's no rocket science, but ultimately it's about the readiness, or we talk about the adoptions, and all are in a matter of time.
Alright, so there's been, I think every speaker here today has mentioned